everyone, my name is Rebecca Marquez, and I'm going to show you how to set up a proper rabbit habitat. Next slide, please. Today, we're going to cover housing, bunny proofing, mental stimulation, and what to expect when you bring your bunny home. Next slide, please. So we're going to begin by discussing whether you should house your rabbit indoor or outdoor. Rabbits from the San Diego House Rabbit Society are people-bonded, social animals who thrive living indoors with their humans. Number two, there is an inherent risk of predators, parasites, and pesticides. Third, outside housing increases chances of disease, such as myxomatosis and RHDV2, and decreases life expectancy by at least half. Fourth, rabbits can die from being exposed to extreme elements, such as being too hot or too cold. What you should do, however, is do give your rabbit plenty of space to run around inside. This improves their health and happiness and increases their family interactions. And lastly, rabbits can get plenty of sunlight from the safety of their home. Next slide, please. So we're going to get started by setting up the area. The minimum setup for a single rabbit is a 4x4 pen with a medium height of 30 inches. The minimum setup for a pair of rabbits is a 4x8 pin with a minimum height of 30 inches. You can see an example of that on the bottom right-hand side of your slide. It's important that you make room for a plastic litter box. Remember, the bigger the better. A food bowl, a water crock, a hidey box with at least 2 openings for an entrance and an exit, non-slip flooring, carpet squares, an area rug, towels or blankets or vinyl, and bunny-safe toys. I'm going to show you an example of the carpet that I like to use for my non-slip flooring. It's this right here. It comes on a roll at Home Depot or Lowe's. There's a few good things about it. One, I can customize the size that I want. It's non-slip for the bunnies, and it's easy to clean, and it has a very small nap, so the rabbits can enjoy not slipping, but they can't pull it up. The other great thing about this, it's a great way to cover up carpet that you want to protect. I also like this because you can take this outside, hose it down, let it dry out in the sun, bring it back in. You can also cover other areas in your house with this as well, your high traffic rabbit areas. The next thing is bunny safe toys, which we'll talk about later. Going from the right to the left on your slide, you can see the complexity increases in bunny enclosures. Next slide, please. So here's some more example of rabbit habitat ideas. You can see on the top right, you can go wood. You can add components to your wooden rabbit castle, or you can choose to elect something more rustic like the bottom left. Over on the right, for your sophisticated bunny owners, you can get something from Clearly Loved Pets for a very nice modern look. Next slide, please. Here's some more examples of rabbit habitats. Going from the top left, we go back to our rabbit castles. On the bottom left, we have something that's ideal for travel. It's plastic, so it's easy to carry. It's not metal, so you're not scraping the interior of your car, and it's very easy to set up. On the bottom right, you can see another example of a bunny castle with a ramp. Sometimes people apply this type of carpet that I showed you earlier. They like to put this on the ramp so the rabbits don't slip. And the top right, we have a rabbit enclosure that is made from 2x4s or 2x2s, excuse me, and chicken wire. There's a few things that you need to know about this one. It's okay to make, but you need to be very aware that all the sharp edges are securely tied down and they're not going to cut your rabbit. You'll also notice there's a plant in the picture. And I grappled with whether or not I should include this slide this picture in the slide, and I thought about it, I thought this would be a great example to show people what not to do. So please note, it's not just whether or not your rabbit has access to the plant, but whether or not the plant sheds its leaves and will fall into the rabbit's habitat. This is a great example of what not to do in this case. Next slide, please. Bunny bedtime. Bunnies love beds. These are very popular with rabbits. You can buy these at IKEA, but you can also find them in our auction. We have a lot of the items that you're going to see today in our auction and at our store. Next slide, please. One other thing about the bunny beds I forgot to mention, if you could go back. If you go to Etsy, they actually have bedding. There we go. They actually have bedding that you can customize your bunny beds. Very cute. Okay, thank you. Next slide. So it's important for you to choose the right area. A few things that you need to know: you need to select an area where they're going to feel like they're part of the family. It needs to be climate controlled between 65 and 75 degrees with access to fans, air conditioning, and heat. Remember, you can do something like freeze water bottles and put them in the enclosure for your rabbit. Remember the solid flooring with non-slip layer top and no wire flooring. It's very important to realize that rabbits don't have the soft padding that dogs and cats have that we call jelly beans. They have fur and claws, which makes it very easy for them to slip on tile and vinyl flooring, which can cause them to have splay. The other thing is we do not encourage people to buy wire flooring cages at all. This is very damaging to the rabbit's feet. It can cause sores on their feet. It can cause infections, and it's very bad for their feet. If you look at the top right, the cage there that a lot of pet stores sell, this is a very small enclosure for your rabbit, and it can cause them to become very cage protective. They can growl at you and bite you if you try to reach into their cage. Next slide, please. Bunny proofing. So before you bring your bunny home, you need to bunny proof your house. This is very important. Rabbits have different temperaments, and depending on the type of rabbit you get is going to be dependent on how severe you have to bunny proof your house. But it's better to start off bunny proofing before you get your bunny in. So for some reason, bunnies love cords. We're not sure why, but a lot of people on the internet are calling it spicy hay, and they're making a joke of it. It's funny, but it's also very serious. Your rabbit can get very injured if they chew wires, live wires. They can get burnt or they can be electrocuted. So it's extremely important that you find creative ways to get those wires elevated off the ground. So I put a couple examples here on this slide. The top right, or excuse me, the top left is some little bunny cord organizers, which I think are adorable. They're self-adhesive organizers that you just snap to where you want, gets the cord up off the ground. The bottom left actually serves two purposes. The first one is it covers your cords, but the second one, it also covers whatever's behind it, like a baseboard or a wall, so your rabbit can't chew that as well. If you look at the bottom right, the black coils there, they're actually very easy to use. You just snap the cords right into the cord cover there, and they protect them very well. Your bunny might chew those though, so be careful that you keep an eye on those and see if they need to be replaced. You can see at the top right, someone used little picket fences to cover their cords. It's very creative. You can also use your tubes, your bunny tubes where they go play in and out of them to cover baseboards and things like that. It's also a great way to keep your rabbits out of areas like underneath recliners and rocking chairs and things like that. So moving up to the top, just make sure all houseplants are out of reach, not just for your rabbit to eat them, but also if the leaves fall onto the ground. Rabbits don't know what's poisonous or what's not poisonous. And remember, they explore the world with their mouth, so they're going to put their mouth on it, they're going to chew it, and they can get very sick or they can die. The third one, cover your carpets and your rugs with tile or a short pile rug, or restrict their access to the area. I cannot say enough for baby gates, and they're not all the same. Some baby gates are very difficult to use, and that's what we kind of have in our head. They have advanced baby gates like you wouldn't believe. So go out there, do your shopping, find out one that's going to be right for you and your needs. Discourage wall and baseboard chewing by blocking access or using a wall protector. This is very important. Not only are they chewing your wall, which looks horrible, but there's chemicals in the paint, and there's chemicals in the drywall, and there's chemicals in the press board that's used for baseboards that can make your bunny very sick or even kill your bunny. So it's very important that if they are doing it, you cover them immediately with something, and you try to block off access to that area. The last one is block off access to recliners, rocking chairs, and beds. The recliners and the rocking chairs is obvious. You do not want to smush rabbit or cat or any little critters. So make sure you block those off. The beds are very difficult for us to get them out. So once they're under a bed, it becomes a fight to get them out. The second thing is they kind of become protective of that area. So when you reach for them, they start to growl at you and they might bite you. So be very careful. It's best to just start with restricting access to those areas at the very beginning. Next slide, please. Mental stimulation for your rabbit. This is so important. Rabbits have great personalities. They're funny, they're great to hang around with, and the more enriched their environment, the more their personality blossoms. So I'm going to start with my favorite, very simple, very inexpensive, very easy to replace bunny blankets. We have these at the store. We probably at Walmart. You can get these at SDHRS, which is San Diego House Rabbit Society. I would warn you, be careful with holes in your blanket. If you do see a lot of holes, be careful. They can wrap around their legs and cut off circulation. Again, these are very inexpensive to replace. So if you do see that, replace your blankets. Bunnies love to bunch these up and then scoot them out really fast. It's adorable. If we're going down, cardboard boxes, any size, any shape cardboard boxes. They love to put them in their mouth and move them around. Wooden ramps, again, up and down. That mobility will help them build muscle here in their chest. It also helps with their agility. If you want, you can use the carpet that I showed you earlier to line the ramp with that so they don't slip. And the next one, telephone books. Before you use telephone books, however, you need to invest in one of these. As you can tell, I've put on a lot of miles. Poop, hay, telephone books, everything, just easy to scoop in here. It saves your back, makes cleaning up after your rabbits easier, but they love to tear apart telephone books. Don't worry about the ink. It's soy-based, so it won't harm them. The next one, bunny toys. Just looking at the pictures, you see the keys, you see the balls, anything like that. Balls are amazing. Ping pong balls. They love to put them under their chins and run them around the habitat or their enclosure. It's adorable. Going over the top right, toss toys. Anything is a toss toy if they put it in their mouth and move it. This could be their litter box. It could be their water bowl, anything like that. So be careful. Make sure you use the very heavy heavy crock water and food bowls if your rabbit does this, or they'll be tipping their food in the water over all the time. Bell toys, things that make noise. They love that. Bunny Einstein toys. These are adorable. And at first I was skeptical, but they actually turn out to be really fun. You place treats in these kind of puzzles for your rabbit, and your rabbit has to figure out the puzzle. And they get it. They actually do. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. So I do encourage people to kind of try those out. You can make your own at home. Tons of DIY rabbit toy websites. Scour the internet. You're going to have just a plethora of ideas to use. If you have any questions about whether your rabbit toy, your DIY rabbit toy is safe for your rabbit, please don't hesitate to call or contact the San Diego House Rabbit Society. We're always happy to answer questions and help you through that. But you can look online and find toys. Sensory boxes. So you can get something like this right here. It's just a regular plastic box. These are actually very inexpensive. This was like $4 or $5. At Walmart, you can get these anywhere. You can also use cardboard lids that you get on your boxes, and you can put balls in here. You can put the blankets inside the box, and your bunny can play in here. Sometimes I use playground sand, which is a very gritty, thick sand. Don't use any fine powdery sand in here. Do not use kitty litter. You have to use the right sand. You can put it in here and create a sensory box for your rabbit, hide some toys in the sand, and they can dig and play. And remember, if you're using this kind of carpet for your rabbit, if they get sand on it, you can go shake out your carpet very easy outside. So cleanup is a cinch. The next one, chew toys. Rabbits love to explore the world with their mouth, so just make sure that anything that they use is bunny safe. Willow toys, specifically if you get something from a store like Target, Pier 1 Imports, or World Market, and you have those wicker balls, don't use those. First, they're sprayed with some kind of coating to make them look shiny or give a certain aesthetic, or they're also treated with pesticides if they're imported. So please don't give those to your rabbit. Make sure that they're bunny safe toys. Next slide, please. This is a perfect example of how you can make even mealtime something of an activity. So this person got a plastic slinky and inserted a leaf. You can put the kale in there or whatever, and you hang it, and your rabbit has to kind of forage for their own food. One of the things I like to do is get a string and some clothespins and get romaine lettuce and clip the lettuce there, and my rabbits would have to periscope and go and get their food. But like I said earlier, there are a ton of ideas out there for you to do this. And just the more that you do this, the more your rabbit's personality develops, and the more interactions you have with them, the better you two bond. Next slide, please. So new home expectations. You and your adoption counselor are going to work very hard to make sure that your rabbit environment and the enclosure and the habitat's set up and ready to go. And despite everything that we do, your rabbit is going to be shy at first, and you're going to have to just give them some time to get used to their new surroundings. So litter box habits may subside temporarily. You might see that. You might not. Remember, every rabbit has their own temperament and their own personality. Give it some time. One of the best things you can do for that, if you notice that your rabbit is urinating or pooping outside of the litter box, create just temporary litter boxes. Grab just a cardboard lid, and wherever you see your rabbit marking, go ahead and fill it full of some Carefresh, some paper-based litter Carefresh. You can also use pellets, but you'll go and learn about that in a minute. And you put these around your house. Eventually, as your rabbit learns more about the environment and gets accustomed to being there, you can start to reduce the number of litter boxes around your house to the plastic one inside their enclosure. And just a note, rabbits do poop outside their litter box a little bit, so just get used to that. Remember, I said get one of these and you'll be fine. When you first bring your rabbit home, start off with a smaller enclosure. Even if your goal and your agenda is to have the rabbit be free roam, it's very important for your rabbit to kind of start in a very small area. And this gets them accustomed to the sounds, the smells, the traffic, everything that's going on in the house. And then they'll start to venture out a little bit on their own. And that's when they're kind of ready to take the next step. You should also be learning at this time what you didn't bunny proof at first that you need to bunny proof now. So just be aware that your rabbit's going to explore your house with their mouth, and you just need to keep an eye on them during that initial exploration of your house. Okay. And the last one is just be patient. Remember, everything is new to your rabbit, and he or she will need some time to adjust to your new home. Be loving. Remember, if they're new to your house, sit on the floor with them, pet them on the floor, and make sure that you're watching for things like the amount of sunlight on their enclosure too. You don't want air blowing on them constantly. You don't want the sun on them constantly. You want to be able to give them space where they can escape that as well. Next slide, please. All right, this is the end of setting up a proper habitat for your rabbit. I do want to say thank you so much to all of our sponsors and everyone who's watching this. Thank you for all your donations, for participating in our auctions, and everything that you do for the San Diego House Rabbit Society. We cannot thank you enough. We have grown so much. We have learned so much in the last 20 years, and it is because of what you have done to help us get there. Thank you for helping us take care of our furry friends, and have a buntastic day. Thank you.
Introducing Wicket and Idaho. Wicket and Idaho are a cute bonded pair. Idaho is the black and white Holland Lop. He's a male that's approximately 3 years old and 2.8 pounds. Wicket is also a Holland Lop male who's approximately 4.5 years old, that's 3.5 pounds. Wicket and Idaho are a shy but curious pair of bunnies that love to check out what's going on around them. As you can see them exploring their ex-pen and looking around and seeing who's hanging out with them. They don't like being picked up and might run away if you reach out to them too quickly. But overall, they would love to be included and integrated into your daily routine. Idaho and Wicket are a sweet Holland Lop pair that would be an amazing addition to any home. Thanks for watching. To learn more about Wicket and Idaho, visit sandiego-rabbits.org. Introducing Donner. Donner was a part of a litter of 7 who was raised in foster homes with SDHRS. Her and her siblings were abandoned in the night drop box with their parents of a high-kill shelter when the litter was just 1 day old. Without the space and resources to care for the family, the shelter reached out to us, and now Donner is grown up enough to look for her forever home. This bunny may be small, but she's got a big personality. Donner is happy to be the boss of any household and is very confident and independent, especially when she was living with her siblings. Donner doesn't mind being independent, and she loves exploring and getting free roam outside of her pen. You can see her little personality showing in this video here. She loves to play with her toys, she loves to interact with her humans, and she is looking for her forever home. She's a sweet bunny who would just make a perfect addition to any family. You can see here that Donner is interacting with one of our volunteers. She loves to accept pets and asks for pets. She is a Lionhead mix. She's about 8 months old and approximately 5 pounds. You can see her big personality as she is exploring around her area. She would love to find her forever home that allows her to give her some free roam time and show off her little binkies. Thanks for watching. To learn more about Donner, go visit her at sandiegorabbits.org.